What if salvation was a lie? What if the only safe haven left in the apocalypse was actually a hunting ground? In the aftermath of the global T-virus pandemic, when the dead walked and the living were hunted, a single message cut through the chaos: safe, infection-free, Alaska. Today we're unraveling the mystery behind Arcadia, a place whispered among survivors, broadcast as a beacon of hope, and remembered as one of Umbrella's most insidious traps. After years of global collapse, Alice roams the wastelands of the United States. Cities and civilization both gone, but the Umbrella Corporation still stalks what's left of humanity from beneath the surface of the earth. While scavenging for supplies in the Nevada desert, Alice arrives at a gas station where she finds the diary of an unfortunate person. The diary describes a so-called safe zone in Alaska, a place completely untouched by the T-virus. And then fate intervenes. She crosses paths with Claire Redfield and the rest of her convoy at the right time, saving them from a fiery death. Alice, being the ever so powerful person she is, informs them of Alaska, giving them hope. It takes a bit of convincing for Claire, but after putting it to a vote, their next plan is fairly simple: gather supplies in Las Vegas and make the long journey north. But thanks to that earlier display of power by Alice, the convoy is now on Umbrella's radar. That conniving Dr. Isaac sets a trap, unleashing waves of a new infected breed against the survivors. Most of them are killed in the process, and of course Umbrella is watching everything go down, but stupidly not from a safe distance. Alice finds them, kills a few, and realizes that the chopper heading back to their base is how they'll get to Alaska. The convoy then reaches the North American facility, blows up the massive horde waiting for them, and steals the helicopter. While the rest of the survivors head to Alaska, Alice stays behind to fight Dr. Isaacs inside the base. Now, Resident Evil Afterlife actually gives us much more information on what Alaska was supposed to be. The movie opens with a bunch of Alice clones assaulting Umbrella's Tokyo facility, and man, is this a sight to see. The action, the music, everything is just perfect. Anyways, the real Alice shows herself, but gets her powers taken away by Albert Wesker. As he's about to shoot her, he hesitates and the aircraft carrying them goes down. But of course, they both survive, and then we get a message.
This is Arcadia, broadcasting on the emergency frequency. There is no infection. We offer safety and security, food and shelter.
6 months later, Alice manages to arrive at Alaska, but there's nothing. No buildings, no shelters, no survivors. Just an empty beach. But she does come across a brainwashed Claire, who has no memory of her past. They make way to Los Angeles and arrives at the Citadel Correctional Facility. And holy shit, is this place surrounded by infected. After making a grand entrance, the survivors of the prison inform Alice and Claire that Arcadia isn't a town, nor is it in Alaska. It's actually a massive ship just off the coast of LA. Then Claire finally remembers something. The convoy reached Alaska. They land where the transmissions were coming from, and they are met with people trying to help. But the scene cuts away as that's all she remembers. Now, we're not here to talk about the entire movie, so long story short, we find Claire's brother, Chris. The prison is overrun by infected and everybody dies. Alice, Claire, and Chris, being the only survivors, travel to the coast and find Arcadia, but it seems to be abandoned. As they go deeper, Claire's memory comes back completely. Arcadia was never meant to save anyone. It was a trap from the start. Deep within its bowels, Alice and the Redfields finally understand. There are passengers on board, or should I say test subjects. Rows upon rows of survivors locked inside stasis pods beneath their feet. Hundreds of people frozen like specimens in a laboratory. The promise of safety was nothing but bait. Alice soon finds herself face to face with Albert Wesker and Bennett, the traitor from the prison. Wesker reveals his ultimate plan. He has to consume Alice, believing her bond with the T-virus is the key to controlling his own unstable infection. Alice also notes that's why the ship is abandoned, because the crew left before they ended up being devoured by Wesker.
There's only one problem with that plan.
And what is that?
I'm not on the menu.
Next thing you know, fighting erupts. Chris and Claire attempt to ambush Wesker, but he effortlessly traps them. Alice easily disarms Bennett and takes down some infected dogs. In the end, it's Kmart, revived and freed from her mind control, who tips the scales, helping Alice turn the tables. She shoots Wesker in the head and releases Chris and Claire. The Redfields do get some sweet payback, and on their way out, they seal Bennett inside the room. But of course, a round to the head and a few dozen to the body isn't enough for Umbrella's chairman. A revived Wesker manages to escape on an aircraft and detonate the purge bomb placed aboard the ship, but Alice was 10 steps ahead of him. With Wesker gone and Umbrella forces neutralized, Alice makes a bold decision. If Umbrella used Arcadia as a trap, why not turn it into the real safe haven it was promised to be?
Food and shelter. If you are out there, we will help you. There is hope.
For a moment, hope returns and humanity has a chance, but Umbrella isn't finished. Going over to the following movie, Resident Evil Retribution gives us, in my opinion, the greatest intro of all time for a movie. It's a slow-motion reverse sequence of events with astonishing music and visuals. But I'm probably gonna have to make the intro go in chronological order. It'll just be easier, trust me. Before any survivors can even arrive to Arcadia, a fleet of Umbrella Ospreys descends on the ship. And guess who's leading them? A brainwashed Jill Valentine. And the assault is devastating. Airships fire missiles, troopers storm in, slaughtering survivors and capturing Chris, Claire, and Kmart. Of course, Alice fights back, destroying one of the aircrafts, but the resulting crash ends with an explosion that throws her into the Pacific Ocean. As far as Retribution is concerned, of the 2,000 people aboard, no one survived, except for Alice, of course. Arcadia was never just a ship, it was an idea, a symbol, a promise whispered into the ears of the desperate. In the ruins of the world, hope is the rarest currency, and Umbrella knew it. At its core, Arcadia represents false salvation. It tempts survivors with the promise of safety, freedom, and normalcy. Yet what waits inside is nothing but control, experimentation, and death. In a universe where humanity is on the brink of extinction, Umbrella weaponizes hope itself, turning the last shred of human belief into bait for their own designs. This transforms Arcadia into more than a simple plot device. It becomes a psychological trap, a manifestation of the human need to believe in something when everything else has been stripped away. The survivors didn't just want a safe place to rest, they needed to believe one still existed. Umbrella understood this weakness, exploiting it without hesitation. The ship also embodies the recurring theme of control versus autonomy. Survivors who boarded Arcadia weren't freed. They were stripped of their identities, locked in stasis pods, and fitted with Scarab control devices that literally rewrote their will. The promise of freedom leads directly to enslavement, a grim reminder that in Umbrella's world, the illusion of choice is just another manipulation. Even Wesker's occupation of the ship adds another layer of symbolism. By converting Arcadia into his personal laboratory, he reshapes it from a symbol of hope into a cathedral of control. The stasis pods become coffins, the scarabs, shackles, the survivors, test subjects. Ultimately, Arcadia represents the death of innocence in the Resident Evil universe. It teaches us that in a world built by Umbrella, every sanctuary is suspect, every beacon a potential trap, and every message of salvation just another form of manipulation. Because in the end, Arcadia isn't about where survivors go, it's about what they're willing to believe. And that belief kills. Arcadia wasn't just a ship, it was a promise and a lie. For the survivors who made it there, it became a graveyard, and for Alice, it became a warning. In the world Umbrella built, hope itself is the most dangerous virus of all. But I want to hear what you guys think. If you were out there, starving and losing your people every day, would you have trusted Arcadia or stayed far away? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, keep watching the dark because it's definitely watching you.